Welcome to the instruction video for the X7 handset. We're going to talk through some of the basic features and functions today to get you more familiar with the handset. This handset can be used either in reception mode or in standard mode. The only difference really being in reception mode, when I press on more, I have the ability to scroll between up to 4 different screens, allowing me to view over 100 extensions. Today, to keep things simple, we're just going to keep it in standard mode. Let's start by focusing on making and receiving an internal call. If I decide I want to call Ian, I can just press Ian's button. My phone rings Ian's phone, Ian answers, and we're talking. I could either be using the handset, but for the purposes of this, I've just gone onto hands-free. If I was to receive a call in from Ian, then I can see I've got a call coming in. I pick up the handset to answer. Making and receiving internal calls. So let's push a call in from the outside world and see how we'll handle a call in from a third party. I can see I've got a call coming in from the main ring group, and I can see that caller's ID clearly listed on the top. And to answer that phone, I just pick up the handset. If I need to put that person on hold, then I just press the hold button. They go on hold. I can either keep my handset on the desk or I can hang it up on the cradle, and they will happily sit there on hold listening to our music for as long as we want. When we're ready to retrieve that call, I just press the resume button. And we're back talking to that person. If I need to transfer this call, and again for the purposes of this, I'm going to transfer to Ian. I just press Ian's button. Ian's phone rings. Customer's gone on hold. I talk to Ian. Ian says he's happy to take the call, and I just press the XFIR button. That call's completed. I can hang up. We can see that Ian is talking to the end user because his icon's gone red. And when Ian hangs up the phone, then he goes back to green. What would have happened if Ian didn't want to take that call though? Let's simulate another incoming call and test that theory. I answer my call. I try to call Ian. Ian answers the phone, says that he's not available to take that call at the moment, and Ian hangs up. I can then just press resume to go back to my end user and tell them that Ian will give him a call back later. Making, receiving, holding and transferring. So let's talk through some of the other options. I have a call log here. That's going to allow me the ability to scroll up and down through the screen to view up to 20 of my either incoming calls, outgoing calls or missed calls. I can see in my missed calls list I have a couple of people who've called while I've been away from the desk, and if I want to call one of them back, then I can just either click on them or I can scroll down using the navigation key and then click on either dial or OK to call that person back. Next to that, we have our contact menu. We can input a list of regularly dialed numbers for you directly into the telephone system so you can dial them through the contact database. Having said that, often people are integrating the telephone system with their computers, so you'd be able to dial through Outlook or through any browser that is web-based. Our Do Not Disturb key simply shows a no entry sign at the top when we're in Do Not Disturb, and while we're in that mode, whilst we can still make calls, we can't receive internal or external calls until we come back off of Do Not Disturb. Our menu controls everything else. Things we might want to do in here might be things like changing the contrast of the display. It might be changing our ringtone. It might be changing our ring volume. But as you can see, everything here is controlled very simply through the display just by following the instructions on the touch screen. So what other keys do we have around the phone here? We have our mute button. You'll know when you're on mute because this key will glow red to show you that the microphone has been turned off within your handset. When a customer goes into mute mode, they hear complete silence. So it's worth remembering, if you're going to be away from the phone for a couple of seconds, to pop them on hold so they hear some music and they know they've not been cut off. The X7 is headset compatible. We can either plug a headset directly into the back, or we can associate the phone with a Bluetooth headset, and we'd use this key to answer and receive calls. Below that, we have our last number redial button. Whatever number we called last will be dialed from our last number redial. Down the bottom here we actually have an extra hold button. Not quite sure why they put it on the phone, makes it look symmetrical though. Down the bottom here we have our volume controls. You can see I have my speakerphone and I can turn my volume up and down using the key. If I was using the earpiece, I can turn the earpiece volume up and down in the same way. And if the phone's ringing, then again we can use it to change the ringer volume. Voicemail is accessed by pressing the envelope button on the phone.
Please enter personal identification number, then press. You have no new messages.
We would navigate our voicemail in the same way that you'd navigate voicemail on your mobile. You can change your greetings and change your options depending on when people go in and out of the voicemail system. And of course, we can also set you up with voicemail to email integration so that when you get an email, a voicemail, it appears in your email inbox. That's a short run through on the X7 handset. I hope you found it useful. If you have any other questions, then please drop us a line in the office and we'll be happy to help.